It's Friday, December 7th, coming up on an all-new View. Former talk princess Ricky Lake is sitting in as our special guest co-host and telling you her secret to keeping the weight off. And Grace is Gone star John Cusack is telling the ladies about his new movie, whether he'll be teaming up again with Sister Joan and taking a look back at the movie that made him an 80s heartthrob. Then he fought off evil spirits in Ghostbusters and kept the bad guys behind bars on the hit show Oz. Now, actor Ernie Hudson's telling the ladies about living life on the streets. Plus, all month long, we're giving away 12 brand new minivans. We asked you to carol for a caravan, and today, find out whose Diddy won him a Dodge. It could be you. All that, hot topics, and more coming up on Season 11 of The View.
Spirits and Ghostbusters and kept the bad guys behind bars on the hit show Oz. But his new movie, Everything's Jake, Ernie Hudson plays a homeless man who teaches a new friend some old tricks. Take a look.
Did I deliver a what, huh? Half tortilla and a couple swigs of brew. What's the matter, you don't like it?
2-hour-old tortilla and a bottle of backwash.
Oh, excuse me, can I heat it up for you? How about a slice of lime with your brew?
Just not used to eating out of garbage cans.
Come on, Cameron, you got to lighten up, man. Stop worrying so much.
I'm not worrying, I'm just concerned, you know.
You used to go to these fancy restaurants with some of your high-class friends, right? Am I right?
It's been a long time.
That's what you're comparing this to, man. But it's the same food, man, just some stuffy way they didn't bring it to you.
Please welcome Ernie Hudson.
Hey, hi.
Hey, now,
Wow.
Listen, you're playing a homeless guy who's teaching another homeless guy, a newly homeless guy, how to survive on the streets. Now, this is not obviously something that you did for yours. You weren't a homeless guy, so how did you absorb all the homeless guy stuff?
Well, you know, over the years, I've done some work with different organizations that work with the homeless because I think it's a real issue in our country. The Union Rescue Mission is one of the places that I work. And when I got the script and really wanted to make this film happen, I came to New York and spent some time, a little time going to the different shelters. I made a commitment to spend at least 4 days on the street without any,
Really?
you know, identification, with no money, and that lasted about 3 hours.
Oh.
I mean, it's cold out there, you know what I mean? And so that didn't last, but I did meet a lot of people and interviewed a lot of people, and I felt it was a very, it's a great American story.
Well, you grew up in Michigan, and you were on welfare at one time in your life. Were you able to use that at all in this character that you played?
Yeah, I think every person you see on the streets is really an individual. I think we have a tendency to sort of put everybody together, but it's an individual thing. And of course, coming from a family, you know, we had our difficulties, but you love the people who are part of who you are. And it's very unfortunate when I see people reach a certain level of success and then somehow forget that.
Right.
So, yeah, I think we're all struggling in our own way.
What was the most surprising thing you found about homeless people? Was there something that you didn't know before?
Well, there's a tendency sometimes to believe that life ends when you lose your stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's but the reality is life, and we all share it, and it goes on. And one of the people I interviewed was a guy who had been on the streets for about 3 years, and the more he talked about it, he'd say, on Thursday you go down here and they have the best soup in the world, and then on Friday I meet my girl, and one guy said, you don't have a girl? I said, yeah, I mean, I meet my girl, man, and we hang out, and life goes on. You still laugh, you still, you know, fall in love, you still do all the stuff that people do, you know, and you don't, but somehow we believe we have to attain a certain ideal of success in order to be worthy to say I'm alive, and of course it doesn't quite work like that.
Did you find when you did go on the streets and, you know, you were just trying to get into this character that people ignored you or they felt you were a non-entity being a homeless person?
Yeah, I think there's a certain kind of dismissiveness, you know. I had
So
a couple
you dressed
people,
the part on the street?
I dressed the part and was out there. A couple people gave me some money without my asking. You know, it's the assumption that I'm going to help this person who's somehow less worthy. The wonderful thing about the character, I think the most heroic thing about the character is that he recognizes that in spite of his circumstances, he's making a choice. And once you get the fact that you can accept whatever condition and you make the choice, then you can make other choices.
Right.
And that's really what it's about. The victim thing doesn't work. And this is not a character who sees himself as a victim. And I think that some of the organizations had a problem with the movie because they want to show that there's these poor people. But the reality is, I think it's only when we claim that right to make a choice.
Don't you think that some people, though, are legitimate victims? I mean, women with children who lose their apartments, who are burnt out of something, who have no means of support, those people are true victims, don't you think?
Well, I think a lot has to do with how you look at it. I mean, I can't determine the circumstances. I mean, life is what it is. So either I can really fight against it and be in denial and hate it and blame and all that, or I can say, you know what it is. Now what do I do?
I want to ask you something, Ernie. Just really, you've been married for 30 years, which I think is absolutely amazing. To your wife, Linda. Because we were talking about the marriage and things on Hot Topics, and you were a single dad before, so was that difficult? How was, give me some advice, that's what I want to know. What's the secret, 30 years being married?
He's the only one here who hasn't been divorced, right?
Yeah, we've been together for 31 years, even though I'm kind of like you, I don't know how to get out of it. I wouldn't know how to... You know, I wouldn't know how to say, you know what, the whole thing, I changed my mind. You're on your own, let's just forget about it.
Yeah.
But I think it helps to feel that you're with someone. They said you should feel like you hit the lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, the way my wife looks at me, which is the way she looked at me when we first met.
Oh, that's
and she's just amazing. And she had some faith in me that I didn't at times have in myself, but she's just amazing. You know, it's like, is realizing you met the person of your dreams, and then the great news is you're married to her. You know, and she's incredible.
It's a wonderful thing.
So now, Ernie, Everything's Jake is on DVD now, and you're all going to be taking home a copy. Do you understand that? That's what's going on. Ernie, thank you for coming in here, baby. And when we come back, we're giving away 3 all-new 2008 Dodge Grand Caravans. That's when we come back.